Welcome back to Lucid Science. This week, we're going to be talking about rebuilding US fisheries, progress and problems by Rosenberg, Swayze, and Bowman. As always, let's go over some terms. Overfishing is the removal of a species of fish from a body of water at a rate faster than the species can replenish, resulting in those species becoming underpopulated in that area. Fish stock are subpopulations of a particular species of fish that are generally isolated from other populations and are therefore a significant population in their area. And biomass is a measure of the total mass of organisms in a given area or volume and helps us know when populations are declining. Alright, I think we're ready, so let's get into it. The problem of overexploitation of fisheries has been well documented globally, showing a widespread pattern of severe resource depletion occurring over centuries, but particularly during the past 50 years. Over the past decade, there's been a collaborative effort in national and international fishery policy to end overfishing and recover overfished populations. The Magnuson-Stevens Fishery Conservation and Management Act of 1996 sets out specific timelines for action to rebuild depleted fisheries, establish requirements for these plans, and requires accountability for implementing them in a timely manner. Too often, effective reductions in fishing pressure are subjected to extensive political debate while the resource continues to decline. Under the requirements of the Magnuson-Stevens Act, 74 commercially or recreationally important fish stocks have been identified at some point as requiring rebuilding. 67 of these have been included in plans already, and the remaining 7 were recently identified and had plans currently being developed at the time of this paper. As a consequence of continued overexploitation of many stocks and the often very long rebuilding plan timelines, most stocks that should be rebuilt around the country are still in poor shape. So let's talk about why rebuilding is failing for so many fish stocks. For 45% of the stocks under rebuilding plans, overfishing is still occurring. In 37% of the stocks, biomass is increasing and fish mortality rates are decreasing. In other words, the clear principle of rebuilding holds. Fishing pressure must be reduced in order to recover these resources. Figure 1 shows the effectiveness of these recovery plans, where A displays the status of fish stocks under rebuilding plans, where 82% of stocks still require recovery, 13.5% are still recovering, and only 4.5% have been rebuilt. B demonstrates the status of fishing pressure for fish stocks under rebuilding plans, where in 45%, overfishing is still occurring, 52% are no longer being overfished, and 3% are unknown. And only 2 plans currently in place have a rebuilding time frame of less than 10 years. Even given these challenges, the US rebuilding program is impressive in concept and scope. Along with broader ecosystem protection from human impacts, the effort to end overfishing and rebuild fishery resources is an important component of a more effective system of management. However, problems of implementation remain. The fundamental factors leading to a failure to rebuild can be illustrated by some of the stocks currently under rebuilding plans. In several cases, plans have been revised 1 or more times without managing to reduce overfishing below a sustainable level. As a consequence, stock biomass has not rebounded. In effect, management has not been held accountable for the most basic provisions of a rebuilding plan, that fishing mortality should be greatly reduced, and that the plan needs to be monitored to address any problems. These problems can be seen in Figure 4. Red lines show the fishing mortality rate, and blue lines indicate stock biomass on a relative scale, where across the board, even as plans have been put into place, stock biomass has not recovered. However, successes can be seen in Figure 5, where stock biomass is seen to grow over time as a result of proper management. Overall, there is an accountability problem. Even when there is advice on overfishing and stock status, management has not been held fully accountable for the lack of a rebuilding process. While we work to build successful management plans, the US Commission on Ocean Policy recommended that a conservative default management plan be implemented for overfished fisheries, while a comprehensive building plan is developed. While the productivity of a fish population cannot be fully controlled, we can and should have much better control over mortality rates caused by fishing. There must be a performance standard in place for both fishing mortality and for rebuilding, with rapid updates if the targets are not met. There is a need for more comprehensive and timely scientific information, but most of all, the program must be results-oriented, not process-oriented. It is the results in the water that must be the ultimate measure of a program's success, and a great deal remains to be done. And that's why we need to rebuild US fishery management practices. If we hope to keep the oceans healthy and thriving, we need to manage them well, and that means decreasing our seafood outtake and using science to monitor the well-being of important species. Find us on social media at Conservation Made Simple, and I'll see you on the next Lucid Science.